Welcome everyone to Legends on Paper, Greyhawk 5e, The Greatest Adventure. As we get started tonight on session number 2, I'm Ravek Hunter, and this is our group. Matt, Camille, Postal Mike, we have Gus, Spencer, and Uncle Mike returning with us tonight. And as we get underway, last session was fairly simple. The group found themselves together for the first time, responding to the summons of a spice merchant named Gabal Keldrick in the city of Dyvers, the free city of Dyvers, the city of sails. And he had a very simple task. Take this herbal brick to a woman by the name of Zelda, to her tower in the gnarly forest, just a few miles south of Dyvers. No big deal. He even offered them a discount to stay at a local inn so that they could leave the next morning. The Red Boar Tavern, where they met Willem, the proprietor, who offered them a very, very fair discount of only 1 silver piece a night to stay there. Small rooms, but nice, clean, fair. And that's when everything went off the rails. Not long after they began to filter down into the tavern, meeting some unusual characters that were amongst the tavern folk. I'm not going to get into them in detail, as that would take way too much explanation and be quite confusing even for myself to try and describe them, and why their interactions with all the different characters, as there were 6 separate interactions going on. But the most important event that took place was when the leader of the Bangers, one Mr. Fremen, Taggart Fremen, burst through the tavern doors and demanded to know from specifically Olsen, as he had taken this strange brick of herbs, and apparently he had the description of this fellow with a frog on his shoulder and a barrel on his back. That was pretty easy to find.
It's hard to miss.
Yeah, so I tracked him down and demanded either the money that Jabal had paid the party to take the brick of herbs to Drelda, or the contract which Jabal had offered. Apparently, they had been offered the contract first, but when they failed to show up to perform on that contract, Jabal was in a state and had to get it moved to someone else very quickly to get the process underway, to get it transported as quick as possible to Zendreldra. In any case, Taggart was not in the mood for a no answer from Olsen, and that's when the shit hit the fan. As it turned out, even though the tavern keeper, Willem, warned everyone, fisticuffs was okay, blades were not, we ended up with 1 dead Taggart, a melted, essentially, thug, and 2 others that were unconscious, and one that was somehow alive, as he pretty much gave up in the end, before the captain of the guard showed up and ended up arresting them all and throwing them in the city lockup. And that's where we begin this session, as we begin to delve into what the group may do next to get out of this. So with that, let's play D&D! Any questions before we get started?
Have we undergone a long rest at this point?
You will have by the yeah. Again, you have no equipment at all other than your regular clothing.
Except
and
for
what
yes.
Yes, what Figaro managed to hide away. And as you begin to awaken, you hear the snores of the few other folk that are in the cell with you. Remember, one big cell that all have been thrown in. Arwen's in there, the one remaining banger that was taken in with you, immediately just going to the corner, just fearfully. I mean, you guys have already threatened him and beat him and, just pretty much did most of what you might have done. He was fearful, though he might not live through the night, of course, and just kind of put himself in a corner in almost a fetal position, hoping he would survive. And we'll say he did, as none of you made your intention known to do him any harm.
Well, I shank him in the cell.
But there are also a couple others in the cell that seem to be waking up with massive hangovers, headaches, and just feeling nauseous, not throwing up in the corner here and there, barely missing Arwen as he scoots over.
I'm passed out.
and one other fellow that has found himself in this lockup very conveniently with the rest of you. And oddly enough, we'll let him speak for himself. How would you describe this fellow?
Over in one corner by himself, as the light is starting to come through the window and people wake up, you see what any child would describe as a wizard. Long blue robes and a tall, pointy witch hat, a long gray beard, and he stands up and he looks at the dirt and puke on him, and he puffs his fingers like that, and all the dirt just falls off him onto the floor. And he sits down, looks at the rest of you, and waits.
I'm picking up my toes.
There's a couple guards that have been basically at a table just outside the cell the entire night. There's a changeover in the morning. You're offered a crust of bread, and a bucket of water is just basically passed around that you can drink out of. Nothing too fancy. And within the hour of dawn, there's a clank, 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 clank of keys along the bars, making sure, just loud and annoying, waking everyone that is possibly sleeping. It's time to go. We're gonna put you in front of the magistrate now. Get up, come on. You five, you over there. Yeah, come on.
Alright.
What happened? What is happening?
I help you take it up.
Last night was a bit of fun, huh?
Why are we in why is there bars? What happened?
You made a bit of a mistake.
I did? What did I do?
Oh, there was a bit of a fight last night. Do you remember that?
No.
Oh, no.
Yeah,
My head is extremely in pain.
Yaris, you killed somebody.
What?
You killed all of them, actually.
Don't listen to them. You're so gullible. Twiga's gonna make some biscuits on the wall with her, sharpen her claws a little bit.
Come on, Cat. Come on, the rest of you. Old man in the corner, you too. Let's go. And you, pointing over to Harlan. Come on. You're the first group. All
My
you
weight
lot.
is on Olsen and Figaro.
Yeah.
You didn't kill anybody, but I didn't know you couldn't handle a drink like this.
I
Apologies.
never had anything to drink. You gave me the alcohol?
I did. I didn't think it'd be so much of a problem.
I
I'm
always
sorry.
wanted to try.
Well, you did. You tried it. Yeah.
I think it wasn't really the ale. I think it was the stuff you put in after.
That's true. Actually, the barrel should stay.
There's about a dozen guards. and they're all like really serious looking right now, watching this. Come on, let's go. Let's go, all of you. That's all right now.
Honestly, it's a bit out of proportion.
A little bit.
So you're taken before the magistrate of the trade district with Arwan and Borax, and a couple of the fellows with hangovers with you. Upon entering the large hall, it's crowded with onlookers. You notice a few familiar faces. The proprietor of the Red Boar Tavern, William Skok. The minstrel who was singing at the tavern, You never did get his name. The card players. Perhaps you remember one of them was named Jer. The man whose sister's a bitch. And his brother-in-law.
Boys.
The drunk merchant that was brained by the door.
Too bad he got a concussion.
The captain of the guard. And the spice merchant, Jabal Keldrick, glaring at you angrily. Ahead, you see a short man with dark hair standing before the dais, where sits the magistrate in a high-backed chair behind a heavy oak table. Mr. Reverend, please read the charges. The magistrate appears bored, stifling a yawn in his heavy black robes. The short man turns with a smug look on his face as he reads from a scroll in his hands. These 5 prisoners.
The wizard deliberately takes one big side step away.
Interestingly, so does R1. These 5 prisoners, individually known as Twig, Philadelphus,
It's Philadelphus.
whatever, Urine, Figaro, and Olson, are charged with public intoxication, inciting violence within city limits, damage to public property, animal cruelty, using deception to the detriment of another for purpose of monetary gain in a card game, salacious slander of an innocent person who is not present to defend themselves, showing willful contempt and lack of reverence to deities worshipped in Dyvers, fraudulent fortune-telling, the act of deliberately causing somebody to accept something as true that is not.
Borax's eyebrows go up just a little bit as he continues.
Smuggling illicit contraband, murder, and attempting to bribe an official of the city watch. He smiles.
Who did the bribery?
I don't remember.
What was the animal
Told to me.
cruelty?
Praise to the gods of
I'm
this
guessing
country.
someone was cruel to Twig.
Yeah, but the magistrate
Didn't even get drunk.
Were you cruel to Twig?
I was never. All I did was tell people.
Enough, quiet you all. The magistrate's just nodding at this point. Was that everything, Mr. Redford? Nothing more you'd like to add? No? His gaze turns to you. What say you to these charges? Agree with all or none?
It's all or none.
Do you agree with them all or agree with none of them?
Is there like a 50-50 option?
I take issue with a few of them.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah, there's a few that I don't.
I will say that everything I did was in the course of my employment.
Mr. Redford, is there anything
Self-defense.
confusing about what I'm saying? No. He's saying all or none.
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 Does it count if we can't remember?
That's a none.
Mr. Redford, was that one of the options? No, it was not. No, it wasn't. No. So they say none, Your Honor, Lordship, Magistrateship. All right. So, you agree with none? Then tell me your side of the things. If you would.
Well, you see, in the course of my employment, I was at the Red Boar Tavern, where the proprietor was very hospitable.
Employed by who, may I ask?
Oh, Mr. Keldrick, right over there. Keldrick?
Jabal is just sitting there,
Not him.
just glaring at you, just shaking his head. Go on then.
The room was lovely, and I was going to have a little cat nap when my friend invited me to dinner.
We had the coupon. I remember the coupon.
Coupon, do you have evidence of such coupon?
We gave it to him. I point to the tavern owner.
Very well.
After some meat and ale on the tab of my friend over here, I played a couple nice rounds of cards where I lost some and I won some. And the next thing I knew, we were accosted by a group of thugs in what was otherwise a very upstanding tavern.
What was the result of this accosting by the group of thugs?
Well, it started out as a pretty standard kind of fist fight. I was staying out of it myself. And then the lead thug, whose name I did not write down.
Taggart?
Thank you.
Taggart. That's him.
Thank you, Magistrate.
Thank you, Magistrate. And then,
Magistrate.
then this thug Taggart took out his swords and started hacking away, and we had to defend ourselves.
And then what happened?
Then over the course of after him taking out his blades, we had to defend ourselves to protect our lives. And it unfortunately ended with one casualty in that event and some sort of divine intervention where the other turned into liquid. I cannot possibly understand that one. He just, a guy just spontaneously turned into a puddle.
Spontaneous, you say? Well, anyone else would like to add anything at all?
Oh, our friend was nearly dead. I had to save his life.
It's true. I did. I went down in the middle of the fight.
He would
frog on
otherwise
your
have
shoulder?
been...
The frog you have on your shoulder.
That is a frog. This is Bruggy.
See.
I'll point to the two gentlemen, and I'll say, and in regards to this fight, sir, it was me who it was started with. You know, I was talking to my two friends over there about Melanie. You know, I don't know if you've heard.
Melanie.
She's a bitch. And I'll mention that they approached us first, and you know, while I'm not from around these parts and I didn't recognize them as this town's supposed gang, it's how they even introduced themselves to us. They said, "Oh, we're the town's feared gang. We're the bangers." And that's just, I don't know about you, sir, but if someone approached you like that, I don't think you'd take kindly
Let's
to
take
it
to
either.
the facts, opinions to yourselves.
Well,
So then the guards arrived, then?
then the guards arrived. That's correct. But I think the misunderstanding started because we have, like I said, been hired by Mr. Kelbrick, and in the course of our employ, we were getting some nice rest. These thugs came in demanding the money. They were trying to steal from us.
All right. Anything else you'd like to add? This is your moment.
He gave me alcohol.
I did.
All right. That's not an illegal thing in this town. Is it, Mr. Reffert? No, not
That's
yet.
for us.
It's irrelevant. All right, Mr. Reffert, you'll get your turn. Anything else at all that you'd like to add? You saying that all that's left is you were locked up and you woke up this morning and were brought to my hall.
I wasn't asleep all night.
Yeah, I didn't do anything.
Philadelphus is kind of getting antsy, not knowing whether or not he should speak up in this moment.
All right, so yes.
Well, I was merely spreading the word of the order of the deity soon to be. My brother, guy who is a god, is our #1 paladin, and I am his #1 cleric, and I was just merely, as a free man living in a free state, sharing the information about my church. The gentleman over there, the musician, he can attest to it. He is our most devoted disciple.
This you and the guy's just like,
You took the pamphlet.
may I see your pamphlet? The magistrate.
Does he
Is that-
have a pick? Like,
Well, they took our stuff.
I'm checking my pockets for the one he gave me.
Oh! Here you are, Magistrate.
I don't want to know where that was.
If he opens the
One of
pamphlet,
the officials walks over, takes it, and then gets a damn.
yeah,
He opens it up.
They open the pamphlet, and immediately is the creed of who is a god, which is there are no gods before me at the very top,
God.
except for the ones that we don't agree with. For we must stake our claim and take their place.
Okay.
It's the first line of it.
Oh, God.
He looks at it and
It looks like it was drawn by a third grader with crayons.
okay.
Paper.
It's kind of how I can imagine it. He just looks at it for a moment, turns it over, turns it back over again, and then looks over at Mr. Reffert. This has nothing to do with the Ebon Triad. Nothing at all. You realize that, yes? They could have had something to do with it. I'm getting the impression that there might have been some communication prior to your arrival here.
Typical DA jacking up the chart.
I'll hold up this a moment. I'll just keep this, if you don't mind. Right. So, anything else you'd like to add? before Mr. Record calls his witnesses.
I want to mention to the magistrate, I just want to say, sir, I mean no disrespect in terms of what I'm about to say, but I'm just a little confused by the circumstances here. While, yes, I understand the situation may have gotten a little out of hand as to what, is allowed under law and rule. However, the long story short of what happened, as it's been described to you, is that we walked into a tavern, we shared discourse with the townsfolk, the local gang caused problems, we managed to defend ourselves against someone who's been causing the town problems for who knows how long. And for some reason, and yes, I understand it divulged into something a little extreme, but why are we being put under such fire for something like this? I understand being in a little bit of trouble because, again, it divulged, but this seems extreme for defending ourselves from...
As two dead men. And this is your side of the story. That's why you get to speak as you wish now. And we'll let the witnesses speak for themselves. You will also have an opportunity, as Mr. Reffert here will, to question them, if you like. And if, when we are done, the truth of what you say comes out, then you will be set free. If Mr. Reffert's version of the story, or somewhere in between, comes out, then there could be other consequences. From minor to dire. We shall see. So, if you've nothing more to say, Mr. Reffert, you may call your first witness. I will. Mr. Willem Skok, will you please come stand before the magistrate, the proprietor of the Red Boar Tower? Tell me. And he comes up. He's really nervous. Of course, you recognize him clearly as the proprietor from the night before. And he's really nervous as he sits down in a chair that's just not like a traditional courtroom, but the magistrate is kind of elevated on this dais, and you have Mr. Reppert, who's basically the prosecutor, who's off to the side. He's got a little desk and a little chair, and then you have just sitting underneath the magistrate's desk, below a smaller chair that the witness sits in, and so he's got facing the entire court with the magistrate behind him that he cannot see. And so he brings him up. He sits there nervously. So, Mr. Skok, why don't you tell us what your version of the story is? They busted up the place. He holds up a paper with lots of writing on it. And they didn't pay for the drinks or the food they ordered? No, they didn't pay for anything. I mean, except for the silver piece, which they demanded a refund for when they left. Or when they were taken away, I should say. Oh. So how much damage would you say occurred between the damage to your property, plus what was not paid for at the end of the night that they skipped out on? Approximately 650 gold. At least. It's right here. I've got a bill of detail right here. And Mr. Effort takes it and looks it over, and then hands it up to the magistrate. He looks at it, okay, and hands it back down. That's quite a sum. Would the accused have any questions for Mr. Skok?
Well, first I'd like to make a minor point of order here about us not paying our tab on the way out. I would like to point out that I did, in fact, cover at least what I understood to be our expenses of the night to the barkeep, the person who was in charge of the bar when you were out, go fetching the guards, just to make sure that some of the minor stuff that we had taken care of was taken care of. Now,
I don't recall it.
You may not recall it. You may want to ask the person who was running the bar where I left him 10 gold to cover some of the basic
I'm sure that he would have told me if he'd received any monies for anything. But then there's still look, and Mr. Everett's like holding withholding the list from you.
Oh no, I would like to. I would like to know the charges of
yeah.
which I'm accused. Are you denying me the right to know of what I am accused, Reverend?
Reverend?
Or, I don't remember what it is.
Magistrate.
No, the magistrate and then
No,
like
Refer.
the
Oh,
record.
so the record. Oh, yeah.
The record.
Oh, Mr. Record. Okay.
Record.
Yeah.
I thought that's his
What church are we in now?
Most Reverend.
By the way, as an
He's probably a
aside,
fucking church guy.
no, as an aside, I think you guys should all start out like this every session, so that we can get the full history of what happened the previous session out.
Every session begins with us being arrested for a crime.
It's all a legal documentary.
Every other episode.
And then the adventure begins. I shall read it then. And he starts to lift off tables, chairs, damage to the floor, cleanup costs, ceiling, stairs, mugs.
Stairs?
Yeah, stairs.
Isn't everything pretty confined to that
Yeah.
space?
It was.
I turned Amanda liquid right outside that alcove, and
The
it did
cleanup
not leave
cost
the
is
alcove.
like 100 gold by itself, and then the staining on the floors had to be refinished and
Yeah.
sanded and so forth. And then of course the smaller expenses of the drinks and the food and all of that are somehow come out to 650.
What did we do last night?
We did not do that.
Not that.
Not that.
And then the magistrate says, "Give them the list." And Mr. Rifford says, "Very well," and he hands it to you.
So taking a look over, like, as a person who exists in this world, I know like about gold, like I've been like Merchant Town. I've been in taverns. I don't know if I've ever run one, but I might know vaguely how much a chair costs.
Yeah, roll a perception as you look over the list. I mean, you can see that it's definitely been exaggerated. That's obvious.
Yes. A perception, you say?
Mhm.
Awesome. I am good at that one, sort of. That is a 15.
15. Okay, that's pretty good. So as you look it over, you notice that. I mean, this is not a accountant's ledger. This is a scrawled list of stuff with numbers next to it, and then a total at the bottom. Something seems off with the total.
Yeah.
So I mean, it doesn't. Just looking at the numbers and then the total, something doesn't quite sync there.
Did you get a professional to look at the tavern to see how much it cost?
Well, I've
repairs?
got to, it's a reasonable guess on my part, estimate. This is what it might cost.
A reasonable guess, so you don't know how much it would cost?
Well, no, it would take some time. I just happened to decide. I mean, I just read this up this morning.
So you wrote this up. It doesn't look like this doesn't look official. That's all I'm wondering. I'm concerned that it might not be totals reflective of the damages, because there weren't very many damages. I'll acknowledge there were some, but not nearly to this degree.
Can we get someone else to look at these numbers?
Could I get? Is there any?
The captain of the guard. You said he was there, right? Maybe he could look at it.
The captain of the guard is there in the room, and he's like looking nervously up at the magistrate. Bring the list here. And so the magistrate is asking, and so Mr. Refford goes over, takes the list from you, takes it up to the magistrate. The magistrate looks at it. All right. Bring your next witness, Mr. Refford. And he keeps the list this time.
Gotcha. I believe of that.
I'm bringing up Sanguine Lapsalop, the minstrel singing in the tavern.
Sanguine.
That's a sexy name.
That's a fucking vampire name.
And you see this tall, lanky guy. He walks up, he's like really jittery as he walks up, and his eyes are just darting everywhere, looking at you, looking at them. And he sits down, you see he's nervously shaking. Oh, so, tell us what you know. Oh, the one hanging. You can tell he's like getting that fake deep voice that he started with you the night before. Is like some confidence thing of his.
And as soon as he starts doing it, Philadelphia starts laughing really loud.
Come on, brother. You
Roll intimidation with advantage.
Intimidation.
Charisma better be higher. The plus line here.
13.
Okay.
I'm not a very good one.
Not an
True.
intimidation,
The
at
pamphlet
least.
goes all over.
Yeah.
The one who was handing out the religious pamphlets, he was very disrupting. He was annoying the customers. So some of them so profoundly jarred that they might never regain the faith they once held so deeply. Yes. Cost me a lot of tips. He's nervous, his voice has just lost it. About how much would you say? At least 80 gold for the night. He's just like staring at you.
We're both.
Did that work? I've worked for tips and no.
Oh, he says, the magistrate, any questions from the accused?
Yeah, I do have a question, actually. Mr. Sanguine, why would you request the pamphlet after if you felt that I'd done you so wrong by proselytizing about my faith?
I just wanted to examine the document and see what had perturbed my clientele so much.
Brother, are you feeling lost?
Do they have taxes in this city?
Yep.
Roll persuasion.
Let's see if I do it better with this.
17.
You're not proficient in this? Why would you be proficient in this?
Because it's funnier that way.
Exactly.
With your eyes just boring into him, he's like, yes, I am feeling a bit lost.
Well, brother, you do not need 80 gold in one night when you have a community here for you.
What community?
Reach into your pocket.
It's friends on.
What would he find in his pocket?
The pamphlet.
Oh, no, it's the pamphlet. Yeah.
The pamphlet.
He would have kept it. He just kind of looks side-eye over at Mr. Refford. Up to the magistrate. You may bring your next witness. Another chair is brought up. And this time, as announced, Jolin and Jer, the card players.
Oh, that's us. Wait.
They both sit down together, and Jer, who you never really heard speak at all that night, very dour and quiet, sitting kind of not looking nervous at all, just as if waiting for whatever the inevitable is. Jer, the talkative one, does look nervous, but not quite as much as the singer from the tavern. Tell us what you know. We've never seen such talent as the two of them. The cat woman acted like she was no good at cards, and the stupid one named Urine wouldn't stop talking. Right. They took us for at least 150 gold. Jared is just sitting there.
We made 150 gold?
No.
Well, you have our belongings, Magistrate. You know that I don't have 150 gold.
So the magistrate says, would the accused like to question?
Was I good at cards?
Jolin just looks, well, you were very informative about your card playing, which seemed very suspect. Folk don't ordinarily tell the rest of the players what cards they have in their hand.
I will take it under advisement. Thank you. No more questions.
No.
There's a few more questions.
Isn't it true that I lost the first game of cards that we played together?
Yes, but that's the trick. You must lose. It is fishing. You must lose at least a few hands before you get the big fish, you see. And then he's looking over at Mr. Refford, who's just nodding. You see, that's how the con works, is that you lose a few small hands and then gain the big one in the end.
And
Jared's just nodding.
the big one was 10 gold was the part of the big one.
Oh, but it's just, was leading up to something much far larger. I'm sure of it.
We played only 2 hands.
I don't recall how many. Everything got very confused very quickly.
Are you complaining that she didn't put enough money in the pot for you to possibly win?
Oh, I think she was going to put even more money in the pot and hook us for more and more before in the end, she took the whole lot of everything we had.
How much did you walk into the tavern with last night?
I don't remember exactly. I don't, yeah, probably at least 500 gold.
Does anyone file taxes in this city?
Is there an auditor in the jury?
I will just point out that he said he thinks that I was going to
Cool.
maybe do something that we never did. So I'm pretty confident that you will not find 150 gold.
I'll be like, sir, even we didn't, but even if they did, how is falling for someone's trick a charge and illegal? It's your own fault if it happens.
In a game of conning us.
In a game of cards.
But no, she was conning us. There's no
doesn't
doubt
matter. Even
Look at her. She's a cad woman.
She did, but even
All right, the magistrate just said, all right, calm down. Mr. Refford,
That was not a nice thing to say.
bring up your next witness.
So was it because I'm a woman or a cat? Actually,
Look at her as a cat. She's a cat woman.
woman.
Even Jer is looking at Joel and going like,
for a super
just shaking his head like, what was that all about? Never saying a word, just shaking his head.
Wait, you
As
are
the two
as
just,
valuable as the rest of us.
as the two just walk away, from the chairs in shame. And then Corbin and Lot, you may approach. The two chairs are still there. The man whose sister is a bitch. And his brother-in-law.
His title is that. That's
And as they sit down, Mr. Refford just kind of looks around the hall for a moment. So, tell us what you know. Oh, the weird one, this is Corbin talking, the one that was the more friendly toward you, that looked dour in the beginning. Yeah, right, you kind of like connected with.
Yeah.
The other one, Lars, the happier one, didn't really speak that much, but, and seemed very nervous
By
now.
the end, I was friendly with both of them.
Yeah, that's true, you were. So he says, Corbin, the weird one with the frog kept calling my wife a bitch. And she was not even there to defend herself. Well, even her brother Loth is beside himself with outrage at the scandalous accusation. It's slanderous. Isn't what you want to show me slanderous? Yes, slanderous, a word. Don't need to discuss the definition or how you got that nerd specifically. Looking up the magistrate. The accused have any questions for these witnesses?
Who is this Mr. Revert who seems to be coaching the witnesses into telling a narrative?
Who are you asking?
I'm asking the magistrate.
Mr. Reffert is, of course, represents the city in the manner of the accused, or the manner of prosecuting the accused in our city, at least in the trade district here. Sometimes he gets a bit overly involved in coaching the witnesses, and so we know this and we take it for what it is.
I will say, I mean, I had quite a conversation with these gentlemen last night, and while yes, we ended up in a scuffle with the bangers, I don't remember really getting on the bad side of anyone that has testified against us tonight. So I don't know what's going on and why suddenly everyone is not on our side.
The magistrate is just keep the questions to the witnesses for the moment. That's what we're doing. We will have further conversation afterward, after we have heard from all of them. We gave you your time to speak. Now it's their time to speak. Mr. Refford? Oh, no, the accused, please. Do you have any questions? For Corbin and Lot.
Don't mind me, I wasn't really paying much attention, but I did hear both of you loudly complaining that one of you that your sister was a bitch, and the other one, like both of you were loudly complaining to the whole bar. I could hear you all the way across the room.
Oh, no, never would have said anything like that. No. And from somewhere in the back of the hall, you hear, what? And as your gaze turned, a woman stands, beautiful woman, long dark hair, angry eyes,
Melanie!
staring forward. And the magistrate just, his eyes kind of open a bit. Seat yourself, lady. Very serious. Is lingering for a moment as she slowly, in a rage, you can see how red her face is, slowly begins to sit. Continue.
Is that the bitch woman?
May I make an insight check? Because
On who?
on the brothers, because while yes, obviously everyone's been testifying against us, these are the first that have directly like flopped from their initial position with us in the
Sure,
bar.
sure, you
'Cause I
can-
was straight friends with them.
Sure,
And now
absolutely.
suddenly,
What are you trying to determine whether they're...
just like why or what, like out of character, I totally understand that the situation is dire. We killed a good amount of people. However, it's a strange, like huge win to me.
No,
Like for fighting the town's gang, whether people died or not, to the fact that we're getting accused like this. So just like who or what might be persuading them.
How about the town's gang?
Yeah, but that's what I wouldn't know that though as my character yet. So I'm
So
trying to
roll your
figure out.
insight.
I got a 5. So regardless, I don't.
I wanted to ask if I'm watching. I can't pronounce his name. Refford,
Refford, yeah, Mr. Refford.
and our lone survivor. Do I catch anything between him and the anger?
Roll perception.
Perception 16.
As far as you can recall, just keeping an eye on him during this
Yeah.
period of time, you haven't seen him look at him once.
Yeah, no coordination.
Not once has he looked, as far as you know. Questions for Corbin-in-law, whose sister is the subject, apparently, and whether or not she was slandered.
Hi, Melanie. I've heard a lot about you.
She's like way in the back. You hear
I'll
like
call that out.
you know, this definite heavy, angry sigh. The rest of the courtroom is quiet. Very quiet. No instigation now. Anything else for the witnesses that we have up here right now? The ones who claim that the sister wife was slandered?
No, it's just seems nothing really. Just it seems like it's an opposite of what you were saying earlier. I didn't hear most of the story yet. I was on the other side of the bar, but still, that's all I just heard was you guys going off on her, and I don't know why.
No. And Lartha's like, both of them are just like shaking their heads vigorously. No. My wife, his sister, she's a saint. She's an angel.
Scared of the game.
I would never, ever say such terrible, awful, villainous things against her.
Just not in her presence, right?
Ever. I don't even think she's a wonderful lady. She's filled my life with joy.
Have you ever met my friend before last night?
No.
Well, how would he know that your wife's name is Melanie if her name hadn't been in your mouth at the pub last night?
That's true. You haven't said her name yet tonight, and I knew what it was. Isn't that right, Melanie? That's a wonderful point.
Well, I mean, we had drinks in the tavern last
And
night.
what did we talk about?
We talked about many things, and I told you my wife, his sisters, Melanie, that I love and we adore.
Now you said she was a bitch.
No. That we love and adore. So of course it's how you know her name. And he seems to be getting really like nervous, just sweating. Just you can see him just holding, the chair rails, just like gripping them tightly.
Like,
Lawrence is not much calmer.
Now, keeping this all in, it's not healthy. You need, like, if you want that open, like, if you want to have things change, you're gonna have to be open about this status of, like, what you think of her.
Does it seem like anyone's notices that he looks weird and is just ignoring the fact that he looks
Well, he
totally
looks like
uncomfortable?
he looks like a very uncomfortable, nervous man that's being questioned. So, I mean, you can do an insight or whatever if you like on it. You're welcome to do so.
18.
18. Basically what I said, he's definitely nervous, scared.
Does it seem like of Melanie or of...
That's a little tougher because, I mean, there's a lot happening in this arena right now.
It's just odd. Like, does he look like he's looking at cat?
Oh yeah, he's constantly darting his eyes over to Melanie.
Okay, yeah.
And she's a bit away too, down.
thought you were gonna say she's
and, So yeah, he's very, very
Melanie's going to be
nervous.
the boss in 7 sessions.
She's the big bad evil guy.
Yeah.
Oh god, because we've ruined her life.
I want her on our team.
She's a lich.
Oh god.
The Lich
No.
Witch.
Any more questions for Corbin and Law? No?
No, I mean, I hope you guys managed to work out the thing with your family, man. It's not on us.
Oh, perfectly fine. We're perfectly fine. Everything's wonderful in our family. Don't worry. Right, Law? Yes, 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 yes.
You're crying. You're crying tears of sweat.
Joy that I get to see my wife soon when I leave here. We'll go out and we'll walk through a field of daisies together.
All right.
Call your next witness, Mr. Effort. All right, I call Stipping. He's a drunk merchant that was brained by the door. Have a seat. Comes in a little unsteady on his feet still. As he kind of moves to the chair, you almost think he's going to fall over when he sits. Are you okay, Mr. Stefan? And my head still hurts a bit. You know, it was a rough night. Tell us what you know. I was just having a few drinks at the Red Boar Tavern. Minding my own business. You're minding your own business? Yeah, just minding my own. And this guy walks up, befuddles my brain with fortune telling. Almost like he knew you. Yeah. And when I got up to leave, he hit me in the head with the door, and I woke with my coin purse gone. What? About how much would you say was in that coin purse? 250 gold, at least 250 gold. Yeah.
I want
Quite a sum.
I did say how much was it?
Make a wisdom check.
That's not true, Your Honor. They only had 25 gold in there.
Would the accused like to question Stefan?
Mr. Stefan, what do you do for work?
I'm a tradesman. Yes.
Kind of tradesman.
Mostly into the wool from sheep. I'll buy it and I basically I get it sold, but I also am involved in getting it dyed as well. So I get a commission off of that. You see.
How much do you usually make from dyeing sheep wool and reselling?
Oh, well, lately I got a big contract. As a matter of fact, I was celebrating and drinking and big, with a few of the sheep shorners around outside of town. And it looked like, it was going to be living pretty high on the hog, as a matter of fact. I feel very good about it. And so, yeah, I can make a good living. It's been tough, it's been real tough.
Oh yeah, he was. He's never seen it. I didn't do anything nefarious. All I did, I have some minor talent with seeing with the cards. All I saw was something bad coming your way. You were unhappy with that, and then you ran face first into Taggart, slamming the door in your face.
All I remember is that you had your cards out and you were telling my fortune, and you were telling me that something about terrible things happening in my life, and so I just had enough and I left. And then as I did so, I got hit in the head, and I woke up without my coin purse, which had a lot of gold in it.
And are you saying my friend hit you with the door?
He must have. I mean, who else would have hit me with the door?
But you said my friend was at the bar.
Right, so he must have followed me and hit me with the door. I was kind of unsteady off.
How does someone behind you hit you with the door?
How'd they get in
That
front of you?
doesn't.
I must have run. I mean, I was just, I don't remember much. I've still got a bit of a headache. I got a big old lump here from.
It sounds like he was too drunk to even know what was happening at this moment.
Yeah.
Did you get hit in the face with the door?
I did. I got right in the noggin.
You ran face first into the door.
Well, no, it ran. You pushed it into me. I know you did. I don't know. You
was
ran
in the bar.
around me. You hit it. You hit me.
Are you still drunk? What is?
No, I've got a concussion.
So you need to.
I motion to smell his breath, Your Honor.
Bring out the ye old breath
If I had my gold, I'd go get myself healed, but I haven't been able to do so.
So is what I'm hearing you say is you fled from my friend and you got hit in the head with the door.
Right, and then I lost my coin purse.
And was that a terrible thing?
Yeah.
Then my friend warned you.
What?
Terrible thing would happen to you.
Yeah, but then he did the terrible thing.
I did not.
There's no testimony that he did it.
What?
Only that he said it was going to happen and you did not heed his warning. You did not use caution. You assumed the risk that you were going to run into that door and lose your coin purse.
It sounded because if I
Well, it's very
recall,
complicated for me. I don't try to understand.
if I recall correctly, was Willem still at the bar at that point?
Yeah, he was out. He was like, he was actually on the tavern side of the bar, but he was kind of like up against the wall because the fight had been, it started.
when
Oh wait, there was the
Aaron
beginning.
entered.
That's right. There was a
Yeah.
So he was behind the bar at that point. Yes, serving.
Yeah. I would, Your Honor, I would ask, I would like to call a previous witness back to the stand, Mr. Willem, to check the veracity of this claim.
Very well. Any other questions for Stefan?
I got one. You said you had a concussion. Are you going to be okay?
I don't know. I need to see a healer. I have no money to see a healer right now.
Do you have a wife at home that can look after you?
You just see him break down. Tears just running down his face.
What did I do?
I wanted to bring up.
I want to.
I left him.
I want to make sure he was okay.
Oh, you're all right. He's just
sorry, I didn't
losing
know.
it. I just have one question for you. The magistrate just leans over. You can calm yourself just a moment. How much did you pay for this fortune telling? I didn't pay anything for it. You can sit down now. Calm yourself. Relax.
I'm sorry.
He just like looks at you with this sad, angry eyes. And
Yours was really concerned, just to clarify.
Yeah.
I'm sure he saw it that way. Willem is brought back up. Mr. Repper's like, all right, Willem, come on. Willem comes back up. He's looking nervous. Yes.
Well, Mr. Willem, it would appear that at the moment that Taggart had entered the bar, you were still behind the bar.
Well, I
He had
was.
gone and gotten the guards. So you would have seen that moment that knocked out our friend over there.
Right, yes, I would have. You would think I would have seen that, but I don't recall it at all. I remember hearing the bang and then turning around and there was a lot happening at that time. I don't specifically, I didn't see the impact of the door on Mr. Stefan.
But did you see our friend Figaro still sitting at the bar?
I do recall that he was in that vicinity, yes, but I don't
Think
recall.
very carefully, Mr. Willem. You are under oath.
Well,
I haven't actually heard anyone be sworn in.
It's implied.
Borax over there.
Hey, why is there a wizard here?
Teleprompting. Huh?
What is the wizard here for?
Who are you asking?
The
Magistrate?
stand of.
The magistrate?
Yeah.
We'll get to him in a moment.
I want to ask also Willem. I'll be like, do you remember walking up to me and Taggart and warning us of what not to do in your tavern?
Oh, yes, I told you. Just pick up slowly, no blades.
So that means you also watched him approach me first.
Oh, yeah, he definitely walked right up to you, and he was angry, but he didn't pull his blade. He was going to, but I told him not to, and he put it right back in.
Until.
Scabbard, you know.
Until.
I didn't, it wasn't until I was like back. He did walk out of the niche where the table was with an arrow in his armor.
I didn't see that.
You
I did it because no one was there to see it.
hear Corbin from out in the crowd. Oh, I forgot about the arrow. Give me this big wink.
Oh God.
I give him a look like I'm gonna kill you.
The magistrate's like,
I didn't see the arrow.
To be fair, it's not a blade.
who are you telling? Willem?
Yeah.
Okay.
To be fair, an arrow's not a blade.
How big of a guy was Ted?
Depends on the arrow.
I was taller than him.
Yeah, you were slightly taller, but he was a big muscular guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
he was the brute of the gang.
I'll be like, because obviously at this point it's known that I stab him. I'll say, sir, and I'll start to play like victim. I'll be like, sir, I'm not a very strong man. Like, yeah, I got some height to me, but I'm not very bulky. I'll snap like a twig. I felt threatened. I felt like my life was threatened. What else am I supposed to do? But yeah, fisticuffs is allowed. I'm not fighting with what's allowed. I'm fighting with what's going to save my life.
I'm just a cabin keeper. I don't know anything about, I'm just tavern keeper. I just have to say what I saw, and that's why I'm here.
Do you snap easily?
Anything else for William?
He will snap like a twig.
Give speech.
So just to clarify some of the facts from earlier, just to make sure, before everything started, you saw me, you saw the lovely gentleman over there sitting
Oh,
at the bar.
yes, I did. I did.
Yeah,
I did.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then you saw him get up, and you saw him, I assume you saw him leave?
Well, no, the fellow that got Mr. Stefan, brained by the door, I only heard when the door opened and the impact on his skull, I suppose. And then when I looked over, then that's when I saw Taggart coming in, and I don't recall exactly where you were specifically.
So you recall Taggart coming in, opening the door that hit him.
Well, I didn't see the door hit him at that time. I just saw Taggart come in. I didn't know if it hit him exactly at that moment. Because he was on the floor. So.
You saw him walking up to the door. You looked away. You looked back up when you heard a loud noise. You saw him, door against him. You saw the thug and his minions following him in. So you agree that you saw him that he got hit by the door.
Well, I don't know he got hit by the door. I mean, I know he got hit by the door but I don't know who hit him with the door.
So what's your story? So are you saying that you don't know that he got hit by the door when the guy came in?
I don't know.
Which direction does the door swing in your tavern?
Swings in.
Yeah, swings in.
Yeah.
So it not makes sense that somebody from the other side of the door pushed them open rather than somebody reached around and pulled it into another person.
I don't know physics, okay? I don't know.
You know it's physics. You have a brain.
Immediately after you heard the noise,
Yes.
It sucks.
He's getting really nervous.
standing in the open doorway.
Oh, Taggart was coming through for sure. Yeah, so he was in a rage. He was upset coming through. He was upset.
Taggart was coming through in a rage.
Well, he was upset. Yes, he was. I made a misspoke and he was upset.
And that's who you remember
Mildly.
in the
Just
open
mildly.
door after the noise.
Well, yes. So when I looked, I saw him had come through the door, and Mr. Stefan was on the floor. I don't specifically remember where Mr. Figueroa was at the time, but over in that vicinity. So I can't say specifically that Taggart was the cause of hitting him with the door. That's all I'm saying.
I think you've said specifically enough.
You did, yes.
Anything else for this witness then?
No, I think he's explained thoroughly.
Who else do you have, Mr. Reffert? I'd like to bring the captain of the guard up. Thomas. This big man and wearing the regalia of the captain of the guard, Dyvers, in chainmail armor. Looks like he's about to go on duty. Sits down. Tells Magistrate and the rest in the hall what you recall. I've never seen such sight of horror. Blood everywhere. All over, like a scene from hell. You recovered the bodies of Taggart, Freeman, and 4 of his men. They were almost unrecognizable. One even had his eyes melted out of his head. Were you able to determine who the culprits were of this dastardly deed? Oh yes, it was those 5 there. I point you all out.
Another sidestep.
Or like there's Borax on one side, other one is like taking the cue. They're just getting farther apart. And yet they go willingly when told they were being arrested. Well, they tried to bribe me with card games but I was stoic and never wavered from my duty. Very well. Then he Magistrate speaking. Any questions from the accused?
Oh, we need to be in jail.
You start talking.
I say in primordial, keep your mouth shut, urine.
Oh, they're bad people.
Straight up, that's another language I speak.
Very, very cocky, confident-looking captain of the guard standing there, Thomas, sitting in the chair.
So, the other two men, you did take them to the hospital, right? You took them to the medic, right?
Yes, true, we took two. The priests, Temple of Heronius, of course, where else would we go? And they were seen too by those priests. What became of them, I don't know.
I just wanted to make sure it sounded like you said we killed 4 men. We did not.
Well, we took 4 bodies out of the tavern, I would say, would be
I'd
accurate.
say that is a lie, that you misspoke.
No, 2 were definitely dead.
That is...
The number changing.
Well,
The numbers-
the other 2 we took to
We
the
tried to
priest.
save one of them too.
Well, we know Taggart's dead, and then somebody, I don't know how, but he turned to liquid.
I think it happens when you have like type O blood. I think it's just a thing.
I think it's just blasphemy.
No, I've got type O blood.
Thank you. Listen, thank you for that. Thank you. Again, why is he here?
I like him. I like his speech.
I like the hat. That is true.
You said we tried to bribe you?
Yes, you tried to bribe me. She, the cat one, the tabaxi, I should say. As I am very familiar with your culture.
Oh.
It's now canon. That boring.
To be fair, did I offer you any money?
You offered a game of cards. And the other one, pointing over at Olson, tried to ply me with ale, which I would take no part of course, because I was on
I didn't
duty.
try to bribe you with it. I said that there was currently a free round being spent, and if you wanted a drink, you could have one.
Well, that would be
I didn't
inappropriate for a man of my
I didn't say
station.
that means we wouldn't go to jail. I just said if you want a drink, by the way, there's a round being passed around, which, and like I did feel like at this point there's no even sense in arguing with you lot because apparently all of our words are being fallen upon deaf ears. You agreed to it initially when I said, "Do you want a drink?" You were like, "Oh, perhaps I will."
I cannot be bribed.
It wasn't a bribe. I thought you were thirsty.
I maintain my position.
What constitutes a bribe?
Why are you no longer looking me in the eyes? Why are you looking at the ceiling? What's going on?
I detest looking at you in the eyes. Because you are a criminal and you will be in the prison system before too long.
There.
Take care of you there. Don't worry. A pretty one.
Boy.
Felt racial.
That did, yeah.
So did it?
Since you are a criminal and you will be in the prison system.
He called him pretty.
He did. He then said I was pretty.
Oh.
Wow, this is fetishized.
Any other questions for this witness?
Yes, what constitutes a bribe, in your opinion?
When I'm trying to be influenced by some method, which could include ale or card games of fun that I would be invited to as part of the moment when my duty, of course, is what comes first.
Question.
A little bit confused.
Do kind words make you do things for people? Sometimes. Do they make you more likely to do it?
Well, sometimes they might, yes, of course.
So if I called you handsome right now, would that be an attempted bribe?
No, I think you were just speaking the truth.
I'm giving you something in order to get you to do something.
What are you trying to get me to do?
Just have a swell day.
No, thank you.
Case in point.
By your definition, that would
But I was arresting you all. That was the point. And you wanted me to play games of cards and
well,
drink ale?
Are you thirsty?
Well, how is it relevant?
That's the exact thing I did last night. That's the only reason I offered you a drink.
Do you like cards?
not even
When
a
you're not at work,
that's
do you
simply
like
why I
cards?
Dice, if you don't mind. But yes, I played cards before.
For fun?
For fun, yes, of course. And maybe for coin.
So I asked you if you'd like to have a bit of fun, and you took that as a bribe.
I was arresting you, all of you. There was not time for cards. There was time for ale.
You had not arrested us. You were investigating. We were waiting for things to happen. We were
Yes,
doing
and
nothing.
so obviously I was being deterred from my investigation by these flights of fancy that I didn't have time for, because my duty would not allow it.
I start picking.
But you agree I never offered you any money.
Well, money. It could be in any form. It could be the bribery doesn't have to necessarily be in coin. It could be in some other benefit to deter me from my work.
We didn't stop you. We didn't resist arrest. We went with you.
Sure, you've admitted that.
Suppose it depends on the perspective of the individual.
Oh, so you heard me. Thank you. I do appreciate that.
Any other questions for Captain of the Guard?
Can you teach me how to play dice?
When you're in our prison system, perhaps we can have that conversation.
Thank you very much.
Throughout this whole thing, do I get a read on the magistrate where he's kind of
You
leading?
can roll an insight.
17.
He seems interested. He's no longer, tired like he was earlier, like bored, like, oh, let's get this over with. Almost seems to be enjoying it.
Well, we are entertaining.
Almost seems to be enjoying it, but he's very, he's keeping his emotions and his expressions very, very close to the vest. I mean, it's really, really hard to read this guy.
Yeah.
I know I've already rolled a couple insights, so if I can't again,
Yeah, no, you can.
But can I, specifically for the purpose of seeing if he's actually listening to what we respond with,
Sure,
or if it's just like this guy says something, then fuck what they respond with.
absolutely. Woo.
19.
He's listening to everything.
Okay.
Intently. Very intently.
Can I get a bit of an insight to see how our Mr. Reverend is...
Reverend? Mr. Reverend? Yeah.
Yeah.
The prosecutor?
Yeah, prosecutor. Can I get an insight just to see how he's looking?
Okay, sure.
Reverend.
Yeah, him. Does he look like he's any nervous, any uncertainty? Does he look smug? No.
Looks like he's about to sell some
That's a
cheese.
5.
Well, what's your passive, though? What's your passive?
Oh, my passive? Better than that. Yeah, my passive's I'm proficient, so that would be 12.
So, I mean, with your roll, you don't really pick up anything deep about whatever he's thinking.
Oh, 13. Sorry.
But passively, he just seems in a perpetual state of annoyance. At everything, just perpetually annoyed. At his witnesses, at you guys, at even the magistrate. Although he keeps that very, he doesn't make it obvious.
Gotcha.
And this guy's like the mediator, right?
Not so much as
Like
a
the
mediator.
prosecutor?
Yeah, kind of like the prosecutor. Not
It's like the DA.
I guess you'd call him like a. Well, at that time, the specific title would be like a. It begins with a B.
Barrister.
Yeah, not a bailiff, but
Barrister?
something like that.
Real life Matt is not very smart. What is that?
But basically, he
English word for old time lawyer.
yeah, essentially,
Like the barrister.
he handles
That's why it's
the
called
the prosecution of criminals that come before the magistrate.
Okay.
So that's his job.
Huh?
Esquire? No.
That's where it's like
A bail. I think they call him a bail. His specific title is bail. Is what it is.
Because is that then where bailiff would come from?
Possibly, I guess. But yeah, a bail is what he's known as here.
Okay. Cool.
And this is just, again, you're in a court that's just for this district. And so there's lots of districts within Dyvers. It's a big city with several islands that hold military and wealthy personages that have big houses. And then of course the river district and all of that that's there. It's a nice size free city. Kind of almost the size of Greyhawk, but not quite. In any case,
Is the magistrate an elected position?
it is an appointed position. Yeah. It's an appointed
Bureaucrat.
position by the mayor of Dyvers. And so Thomas, you just jingling his armor, gets up and just walks very confidently and just looking at you, just nodding his head. Like, see you again soon. He doesn't say it, but he, that's what you get. Any more witnesses, Mr. Ravek? I have 2 witnesses left, sir. And first I'd like to call is R1, if you'd like to come up and sit down. Erwan, as you recall, is the lone, let's call him lone survivor, but the lone fellow that was,
The one who surrendered.
yeah, that was surrendered and was left conscious and was jailed with you overnight, and walking a little bit more confidently now than when you recall him in the cell with you, no longer under your control, takes a seat. Yes, I'm here. Tell us what you recall. Well, Taggart was very angry. You see, we had gone to Mr. Jabal Keldrick, and we had contracted with him to do a service. And then we were late. We were, unfortunately, we were delayed by the hanging that took place earlier that day, and we could not arrive at our appointed time. And so when Taggart did finally meet with Mr. Keldrick, found out that the contract had already been given to someone else. And of course, you know, Taggart, normally being a very jovial, likable person, you know, took this okay, I mean, well, but then he got angry because he realized that he felt it was stolen from him, that this other group had just kind of swooped in and knowing that maybe having something to do with the delay, had swooped in and taken the contract, which was worth, you know, quite a bit, at least 500 gold or more. And the crowd, yeah, at least. And so he decided to go kindly ask the other group that he had heard was staying at the Red Boar Tavern if they wouldn't mind returning the contract to him. And so I was right there with him the whole way, and he went into the tavern, and he didn't burst through the door or anything. He just opened it and found a body there lying on the ground. We didn't give it any, you know, second look because it had nothing to do with us. And found the fellow with the barrel and the frog that he had been told was the leader of the group that had taken the contract on their behalf. And so he went and never drew his sword, asked them kindly if fellow Olsen, if he wouldn't mind returning the contract. Or at least, you know, the value of the contract, which seemed reasonable under the circumstances. And he refused. He was very angry and threatened to sick his frog upon us.
Keep in mind, the frog right now is literally this big. Like,
On
it's
his
not-
shoulder.
Yeah, it's not.
And then stabbed him with an arrow. And then his friends who came up behind us and ambushed us from behind, and killed us. And I just barely survived by giving up in the end because they were all gone, all dead around me. It was traumatic. I can't even think about it. It was terrible.
The note, that story immediately contradicts like 3 of the other ones, which we've already pretty
Are you saying this out loud?
Yeah.
You'll get your chance to
All right.
question him one moment.
All right.
Mr. Rippet, do you have any questions for one? He's a member of the gang of called the Bangers, correct? Yes, but you'd see, I think he said it well enough. All right, so the accused, would you like to question Mr. Allen?
Yeah, well, we've already confirmed when discussing how the man possibly got knocked unconscious, confirmed by Willem that Taggart did enter the bar furious. He threw open the door. Well, we didn't confirm whether or not it hit the guy and knocked him out. We confirmed that he ran in angry and headed straight for me. That was confirmed by Willem already.
Well, I don't recall angry. I mean,
You've already said it. You've already said it.
I mean, he was angry in the beginning, but by the time he got
No,
to
it's
the
fine. You
tavern-
already said it. It's okay. So that's one point that's already contradicted in your story. There was others, but I can't.
Yeah.
But they escape my mind.
Point of order to the timing of us folk here were at the hanging like everyone else when we heard a crier come out and ask for urgent need of people to take on a postal contract. You said that you were delayed by the hanging, but the gentleman here had already needed people to depart. He needed to hire someone quick on the spot and couldn't wait for any references. Clearly you were delayed by more than that.
well, there was other things that we had to attend to as we tried, but of course that delayed us quite a bit, unfortunately. But yes, there were other things that we had to get done.
But you acknowledged that it was an urgent contract. But it was an urgent contract.
Yes,
You
yes.
acknowledged
We were
that you missed it.
urgently trying to get back to see Mr. Keldrick about it.
Well, you know, sometimes when things are urgent, they need to be taken care of right away, and you missed it. So that's on you, not on us.
Well, I don't know. I just was following Taggart. You know, he was the boss. He'll be missed.
And do you recall when you pulled out your short sword and tore into my friend over there? I think your shirt might recall the sword swipe that
It's
you...
it's stained with blood.
But only when the rest of you had already pulled your blades and you were
Only
attacking. You
if
said my survival. There's 5 of you against just me.
I never drew a weapon.
Well, it was 5-on-5 at one point.
Yes, I mean, it seemed like a fair fight in the beginning. You know, Taggart is quite a brawler. You know, he's very strong and able, but
Was.
yes, sadly, yes.
The magistrate keeps deflecting questions that are asked to him, right? Like whenever we asked a question to him, he was like, "Keep it asked to."
Yeah, right now he wants you guys focused on the witnesses
Okay.
to get their story out.
What delayed you?
He looks over at Mr. Refford. Mr. Refford is like, well, we were waiting for the bodies to be taken down from their nooses. One was quite obstinate about dying, and so he shook and convulsed and, you know, just rattled around a bit for quite a long time, and the other 2 were, you know, at least decent enough to die right away. So we were waiting so that we could... It's allowed in the city, right? And Mr. Everett's like, yes. To, you know, to rummage whatever you like from the dead bodies that are, the criminals that are hung, you know, from scaffolds. And so we were waiting for that, and it took longer than we expected.
So you heard the town crier. So you heard the crier come out and announce that the contract was needed immediately. That he had to refill it, right?
No, I didn't, but Jen...
Because he was yelling the entire time while the hanging was going.
We were all within earshot of it.
I don't recall specifically. It's not a lie. It's not a lie. I don't recall specifically. But Mr. Taggart, he doesn't seem to be in a hurry at all to you know, to get back to Mr. Keldrick. He seemed like he had lots of time. So I don't know what the arrangements are. I wasn't the boss, so I don't know.
Boss of the gang, right?
Honestly,
That's
it's
him?
our fault that your boss reassigned the contract.
Yeah. Sounds like it's his own fault that he didn't care to do the contract.
I don't
A lot of things that are listed on this list of charges that, well, whether they're true or not, don't even seem like they should
Charges?
be illegal. Yeah, they're not even charges. They're just things that happened.
I can't speak to any of that, I'm afraid. I just can only tell you what I've done. What I did.
This is Erwan speaking, right?
Yes.
Okay. I thought I heard you say Refford speaks up,
No.
and at one point I was like very confused.
I don't want to call anybody a liar, but did the barkeep not say that the big man, the Taggart, he tried to draw his sword first?
Oh, well, you know, he looks you over a little bit. Are you carrying openly sword, the blade? The
They
blade?
took all my stuff, but all,
Oh, yeah, no, you're not.
normally all I have
Yeah.
on my side is a flute.
So, yeah, so you guys don't have any of that right now. So he makes an assumption looking at you that you're not a swordsman. I said, well, you know, if, you know, swordsmen, and typically, you know, they just kind of have this nervous twitch about, you know, making sure that their daggers or their swords are loose in the scabbard, so that if they ever have to draw them quickly or in an urgent situation, we can make sure that, you know, we're protected properly and that they draw as we expect. And so it's just kind of just a nervous thing that most swords folk do. You know, that's not unusual.
I see. That makes sense. I seem to fully just accept that.
You loosen it when you want to take it out.
No, but swords folk, they often just make sure that it's, you know, oiled properly and loose within the scabbard in case they do have to remove it quickly.
Since someone cocks a gun or
I'll be like, oh, he's just checking it.
Yeah.
He did also say he put it right back.
Yes, he put it right back. Yes.
who is the wizard? No, I'm kidding.
mean,
this whole
Braggy, get him! He's the leader of the gang. And throw a hand-sized frog.
so do we want to ask the you're lying through your teeth. Do we want to ask the minstrel and all the other witnesses at the bar that said that watched you pull your sword and attack our friend before he even pulled a weapon? Because he never did. You pulled your weapons on us. We didn't do it on you.
Well, again, only after everyone was attacking us and had their weapons drawn against us did I draw mine. I felt like I had to defend myself.
No one saw me take it.
After you started the fight and threw the first punch?
You, bitch wife and bitch sister dead.
That guy already.
They were right next. They were dead.
Yeah, you
The guy walking out with the arrow in him, probably.
No, that was the one.
That's fine.
I also forgot that arrow come from guy with quiver on his hip.
I also forgot that the guy already mentioned about it. Yeah. Never mind.
Okay, well, we've gone from rules lawyering to actual lawyering.
If there are no more questions for this witness, please, Mr. Reppert, bring up your last and final.
Didn't I point out that the arrow was mine when I was drunk too?
Yeah, you did. Nate, you pulled it out and put it back in your quiver. You were like, oh, well, my arrow. The guard gave it to you.
Like, that's not my arrow. Where's my arrow? Oh, that's it.
You were so naughty you had to put it in the quiver for you.
That's true.
So this time I'll call Mr. Jabbo Keldrick, spice merchant.
About time.
Yes, boss man.
I remember him.
Oh,
Jabbo gets up. You recall he's a fairly big man, dressed in his finery, and lots of jewelry as he walks up. Very confident as he just looks around, glancing down at all of you as he passes, and you just see passively this look of simmering anger beneath the surface. And he sits down in the chair.
This is all because
And
Where's his boys?
he said,
he sent him after us.
"Do you know why you're here?" "No, not really. These 5 persons, a bad character and moral perturbation, claim to be working for you." "Oh yes, now I recognize them. We met only once. I hired them to take a small package to Zendrelda in the Nari." And the whole room goes really quiet. It's like, oh. "Well, you may have much to answer for, Jabal Keldrick. For when I went through their possessions, I found this, dramatically." He holds up the brick of Calamatras. This brick.
Come on, this.
Oh, it's the brick of herbs.
And he goes, "So, this is Calamantras, a psychotropic outlawed in the free city of Dyvers. Is this the
Drug smuggling. Yeah. I didn't pull it out that time.
Is this the package you gave them to take to Zendrelda?"
Just so smart.
I've never seen that before.
No, you gave it to us. You don't remember?
Out of character question, did it have, when I first took it from out of his hands, did it have any marking? Because we're bringing it to someone from him, but had nothing designating.
Nope, as I described it, was just it looked outside of a brick.
Like a
It
brick
was
of cocaine?
oiled. Well, no, it was like, and it maybe.
Opium.
I don't, and then it had like this thin oiled leather wrapping, and then with twine it was tied tight. Apparently, weather waterproof even.
does it look like the same brick that we saw in the box?
It looks exactly like the brick that
Is it
Did
the
we get
same?
any orders designating that he tasked us with this item?
Like
he didn't give you anything in writing.
We had a coupon.
He did say that when we delivered it, we would get a chest.
You'll get your moment to question the witness.
to freaking look at me.
Rimpert continued. Rimpert. "So, if you didn't give them this, what did you give them?" Jabal looks Olsen dead in the eyes. And he says, "I gave them that frog." "A frog? Zendrelda needs it for her alchemy, I suppose."
I will immediately say, Bruggy, do 2 backflips. And the frog, because he's been with me for many years at this point. We'll
You'll
do.
get your moment. You'll get your moment.
Frog starts doing flips.
Okay.
So,
You trained him well.
In 12 hours. Yeah. 12 hours.
So then, Reffert looks back at you, look at your group. Reffert holding the Calamanthus. So where did this come from?
It came from him. We were supposed to bring that
That's
to
his-
the
that's his
tower,
package.
to Zendrella, and then she was going to give us a chest that we bring to the menagerie and Lord Hem.
This frog's been my best friend for like 5 years.
He gave us half of the payment now, and then half when we would get from Lord Hem.
You're not feeding them enough. They grow much faster when you feed them.
He has seemed to grow slowly. I'm not sure what's happened, but like, he's getting there. He's bulking up slowly.
So at this point, the magistrate feels like he's losing control of the room. Yeah. Hold on. And but Reffert seems to be pressing it. He's like in this moment, and he holds it up high in front of all the 50, 75 people that are in this room and inquires openly. Who does it belong to?
Can I ask the spice merchant? Can I?
In a moment.
Sorry.
The DM wants us to have his moment.
I'm
He doesn't
sorry.
want us to interrupt his monologue.
As he does so, and you guys are still kind of getting nervous and trying to, ask Jabal, who's just sitting there very calmly the whole time, as if it's this nice spring day in Dyvers. A man stands up from a nearby chair. He's wearing the uniform of a common soldier in the city guard. You recognize him as the man from the inventory room at the jail the night before that was taking all of your possessions. The one that kicked your barrel into the corner.
Oh, that I asked for my frog first?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I think I accidentally dropped that brick of Calamanthus in the frog fellow's barrel last night when I was organizing the prisoner inventory room. It looks the same as the one we pulled off a thief we arrested a few nights ago. The referee just like, really, you can see his face just kind of reddening, almost purple. I don't believe it. I don't believe it. I think these belong to them. And the magistrate at this point is like, had enough. He's like, enough. Mr. Reffert, you have your answer. Deal with you later. He points to the man that had just stood up. Do you have any questions for Mr. Keldrick, the witness? This is what the magistrate's asking you, the accused.
I would like to ask Keldrick, this is the spice merchant, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah.
The one that hired
I'd be
you.
like, yes. So I want to just say, so this is your frog?
Do we really need to discuss this, boy?
Yeah.
Do you really want to discuss this further with me now? About this frog that I gave you from to deliver to Zendrelda? Do you deny that that's not the truth?
This is getting us into trouble, man.
All right.
The magistrate's like leaning over the table, like just looking at you.
I guess I.
Speak up!
I guess
We
I'll.
all can hear.
I guess I'll know when I'm beat.
Just one question. Did you happen to hire Taggart earlier to do curry the frog to Zendrelda, and he just didn't show up for the contract?
Figaro is your name, I recall, yes. And you know that I did. As a matter of fact, you're aware that I had hired a group that had not shown up, and that I awarded the contract to you. Paid you well, even paid you more than what I was really offering, as I recall. And you accepted it. Gave you lodgings at a discount with that coupon my fine friend took to Willem, which he honored. What happened after that is not my responsibility.
Just wanted to clarify some of the facts. Just wanted to get that on record, just to make sure.
I think he's mistaken. What? Okay.
Any other questions for Mr. Jabal Keldrick at this point? You may leave the stand, Mr. Keldrick. Thank you for taking your time to come resolve some of our questions today. You can see that there is almost just passively, not a kinship, but there is a respect and possibly a relationship there. I mean, that's the way that they speak to each other very, very respectfully.
Was it the magistrate and the spice merchant, or was
Yeah,
it
the magistrate and Jabal Keldrick obviously know each other at some level, you know. Mr. Rutherford, do you have anything else then? Have you stated your case completely? I have stated it as completely as I can. I believe that I have shown, without reasonable doubt, that all of these criminals, we'll call them, should all be hung from the neck until they're dead. The whole room is like quiet and there's this intake of breath, like, that is your recommendation. It is. Magistrate, it is. And the accused. Any last, I won't say last words, any last parting statements before I render my decision?
Your Magistrateness, I would just like to say, you may have noticed that we struggled with asking questions today. It's because all the answers were very odd, and I don't think that that passed you. In fact, I think that you will have noticed that any time we asked a question and got an odd answer, the next person contradicted or gave somewhat different story. However, none of our stories have ever changed. In fact, anything that we asserted at the beginning has only been verified by our employer and other people that have testified today. We were approached by angry men in a tavern while we were on the job lawfully, and we had to do the best we could to defend ourselves. You've even been presented with a documentation of some damages to the tavern that just doesn't add up, and I don't think that you've missed that.
You know, I've always admired the tabaxi, the freedom that you have on the range, the life that you lead, the almost feral suppleness of your dexterous movements as you walk through the streets, as you climb impossible. I've watched as you climb the impossible heights, and very clever folk as well, I've noted. But do not presume to think what I have missed and not missed. I see it all, and I assure you that whatever judgment I render will be absolute, final, and fair. So, we'll take a brief respite, and afterwards I shall render my judgment. And we're going to take a break.
You get to the wizard, right?
It's gone. Lizard's fine.
He's on trial as well.
Holy shit!
In this case.
Maybe the wizard is gonna be like, you know, they were talking all night in the cell, keeping me up. They could have been getting their story straight.
Surprise, I'm the magistrate's brother, and I've been spying on you.
And now the wizard on the charge of burning down the orphanage.
See you in a few minutes. Wow. All right, welcome back, everyone.
Oh, thank goodness.
Let's get into the second half of tonight's episode. We're going to find out what the magistrate has decided. The fate of our heroes, our potential heroes.
Anti-hero.
Might be. Yes. And so perhaps they put on a good case. Perhaps they haven't. Perhaps they haven't been up to the level of Mr. Reffert.
Perhaps there'll be another hanging.
Yeah, perhaps there'll be another hanging in the near future. One thing you guys all know about Dyvers, and a lot around Greyhawk at this time, is that there's a lot of angst, concern, uncertainty about this Ebon Triad, which is, I mean, it's pretty common knowledge that this group, this very subversive, underground religious group, is actually from 3 different religions. The religions, the folk that follow Hextor, the folk that follow Aruthnal and Vecna, all believe that there are sects within those religious organizations that believe that their gods are going to combine to an overgod at some point. Now, even those more mainstream within the Vecna cult and the Hextor cult and the Aruthnal cult think these are real outliers. They don't believe this, but there's these sects within their cults that do, and they're becoming more and more powerful, more and more prevalent around the Flannis. And it's just a lot of concern, especially since they're trying to convince a lot of the common folk to follow them in this crazy notion, and their nefarious ways of doing so. So
That's trouble.
kind of the paranoia that's set in, the latest rage of paranoia in Greyhawk, I suppose.
Well, guys, it was really fun to be a part of this party.
Goodbye.
So, literally 20 minutes later, you're called back into the Grand Hall of the Magistrate of the Trade District.
Was the wizard just with us the whole time?
Yeah, the wizard, no, yes. Actually, all of you were taken back to your cells, along with Arwan and Borax and the 2 others that were there that are really just kind of like, cellmates for the night. Arwan, during the time that you're in the cell, is just like nervous again, and just back in the corner where he was, just defensively watching you.
Should we beat him up?
Nah.
That probably wouldn't look the best.
That's fair.
He is unarmed. We need to start another.
I mean, to be fair, you're usually unarmed and you still fight.
Well, yes, but that is because I have much training.
Do we know that you did anything in person?
No. My sleight of hand was really good.
Yeah, I'm just checking.
And so you're brought back into the hall. It's still jammed with people. As you pass down, the main between the chairs, the aisle between the chairs, to where you were sitting, right up front, in front of the magistrate. He hasn't come out yet. Reffert's sitting there. You pass Melanie,
I was gonna say Bellamy.
You're too good for him, Melanie.
You really are.
and she's just glaring at the 2. The 2 men, the brother and the husband, Jolan and Jer, who strangely are averting their gaze as they pass, just looking at whatever else they might want to look at. And you get a nod, Twig, when you say that as you pass, as her eyes just kind of daggers back to the 2 as she watches them, not paying attention much really to the rest of you.
Didn't the guard agree that she was a bitch? Yeah, that happened.
In the tavern.
Yeah.
There's probably going to be another murder or 2 happening outside the court.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
That you guys are just discussing openly.
Oh no, I'm being quiet.
That was out of character. I wasn't.
Yeah, I know. I was hoping.
No accent.
No.
And then at just moments after you were seated, the magistrate comes from a side room and sits in his high back chair. He's got a few what look like scribbled notes on one single piece of paper. So again, it's been a very, very short time for what's at stake here. And Mr. Reffert is looking at him, trying to kind of look at the notes as he passes and goes up on his dais in his chair, but then just looks away, frustrated when he can't read any of it, and then sits back in his chair and just waits.
Does he pout?
He's kind of he's got that annoyed look on his face that he's had from the beginning.
Did Taggart's gang have any symbols on them of their gang? Like any designating thing that linked them all together?
You can roll a history at disadvantage since you were drunk as fuck.
Sure. Okay. Well, the first one's not bad. Let's not fuck it up. Not terrible. 14.
14 is better than average. The only thing that you would have noticed, and if your eyes now kind of moving to the place on Arwan, where you see on his forearm what looks like a snake. Snake just kind of not wrapped around it, but just kind of not coiled, but just like down the length of his arm, and it's kind of curved.
May I then?
And he's got an apple in his mouth.
Okay. Noted. May I then see if anything like that is noticeable on the magistrate?
Oh, the magistrate, he's wearing these long robes.
Or not the magistrate. The
Mr. Reffert?
Yes.
He's wearing a tunic. He's not wearing robes. He's wearing a tunic that's shorter sleeve. You don't see any tattoos of any kind or markings on him at all. You do see it on Erewhon, and you do remember it on, the others that, that you might have seen that part of their body.
Let's see. That's a hell of a...
The wizard sees you looking, he pulls down his... No.
Be crazy.
That should have been the next question.
Yeah.
So the magistrate, looking down at his notes and then looking up at all of you and down at Reffert, just nodding. You put on a fine prosecution today, Mr. Reffert. I appreciate your efforts as always. You have perhaps swayed me in some ways not. And the accused, you've asked some appropriate questions. The witnesses have performed very well. And to whatever level of honesty that they believe they might have conducted themselves. Before I render an actual judgment, I would like to basically discuss the witnesses one by one, each one of them. And as all 5 of you have been accused of crimes severe enough for me to order a penalty of death, this is how I rule. William Skok, proprietor of the Red Tavern, and he's looking at, all these witnesses are here. He's looking at Willem. And Willem's just looking back at him, wide-eyed, like a deer in headlights. Willem, we attended school together as boys, and I know how bad your math is. If you're claiming 650 gold in damages, then it's probably closer to 2. And as I read your manifest of damages here, I see that even your math has not got it entirely correct. He shakes his head, and Willem looks really embarrassed, kind of like sinking into his chair. Sanguine Lapsalon, minstrel who sings at the Red Boar Tavern. I've seen the pamphlets circulated by one Philadelphus. They're misguiding and mostly stupid gibberish. If they distract from anyone from your singing, then it was probably a welcome relief. Quiet. Serious matter. Jolin and Jer, the card players. How many times have the 2 of you been accused of cheating at cards? I think it's 3 or 4 that I can remember in this very hall. If a tabaxi took you for a few gold, then you deserved it.
Huh?
And they reddened, their faces just reddened. Stepping. The drunk merchant brained by the door. Witnesses say it was Taggart that hit you with the door when it burst in. Accidentally. After that, who's to say with any truth someone stole your corn purse or who it might be? And since you didn't pay for the fortune you received from Mr. Figaro, then what did you lose? I see no fraud here. Thomas, Captain of the Guard. Why so dramatic? There's nothing in your report about blood everywhere, and it was only Taggart and one of his men that died. The others, including Arwan, are alive and well or recovering from their injuries. It seems you need to get the situation in your inventory room in order, sir. I won't have this in my courtroom again. You remember that. Arwan, member of the Bangers. Speak well for a young man, misguided as you may be. I order you to get out of that gang. Get a job, or I will enlist you in the Dyvers Marines. You have 24 hours. I better never see you in this court again. My final judgment is 500 gold. 200 for Willem, the tavern keeper. 300 for court expenses. Pay the fine. You're free to go. And the courtroom, silent for a moment, just erupts in clapping. Just come on, right this time, Mr. Reffert. Just fuck. I thought for sure they would be guilty. Well, you get your way sometimes, you don't others. Win and lose, they say. Always fair. Oh. I think I have, Arwan, you may go as well. Those two drunkards, just send them out. But there is one other. Borax. Arrested for blasting off the heads of daisies and snapdragons in Lady Dresden's flower garden?
Individual, Your Honor.
I understand this individually.
One at a time in the dark. If that is not a sufficient show of magic as to warrant my entrance into the university and her sponsorship, then I don't know what else is, Your Honor. I ask politely. You want to be a philanthropist, you want your word spread as to your generosity. I ask for a simple sponsorship to the university, Your Honor.
Are you finished?
The last flower, I did petal by petal.
I am impressed, quite honestly, just, between all of us, but
They're flowers, Your Honor.
I'm just exhausted after today's beffuckery.
I agree. I'll just go.
And I wish to go home. My judgment to you is thus: 11 gold, 1 gold recompense for Lady Dresden and her flower garden, 9 gold piece court fee, and you must attend to these misguided fools and whatever it is that they're doing for Cabal Keldrick.
In what way?
And whatever way is necessary.
We have a new friend.
I'm to manage miscreants now.
That is your lot in life, at least for now, and I will consider your proposal, as I am quite the philanthropist and a philanderer or whatever.
One needn't confine themselves to only one.
And maybe if you prove yourself worthy of Jabal's quest, whatever it is that he's got you going for, I'm sure that it's worthy. Zendrelda, strange lady, not quite sure that she's completely right in the mind, but in any case, I'd rather keep her in Gnarly than out of the city. So, do what he asks. Try not to get yourself killed. React bravely. Come back successful one day. I'll consider your request of sponsoring you.
Frogs. Frogs and miscreants.
Yes, yes.
The frog part is pretty great.
Thank you, Your Honor.
Now, all of you, out of my sight. And he immediately just gets up
Your Magistrate.
and begins to walk out, just shaking his head
Thank you, Magistrate.
as he goes through the door.
I like that, man.
Did anybody else notice that he talked about Willem's ability to do math, but he only mentioned 10 gold pieces worth of fees, even though he charged him 11?
One of us.
No, he charged
No,
him
one for the property owner and 10 for and
Right.
Nine.
No, he
Nine for court
one
fees.
for the property owner
That's
and
right,
9,
nine for
but
the
he
court
charged me
fee.
11 gold.
True. That's true.
Corruption! Corruption in the city of Dyvers!
Oh no! So the witnesses immediately just disappear out of the room. I mean, they're as quick as they can.
I try to catch Sanguine's eyes before he leaves.
Even the
Don't worry,
boss.
brother.
Where's
Spread the
You
word.
do catch his eye, and you see this look of longing for a moment, as if he wants to learn more, he wants to be a part of, and then just absolute shame as he just turns away, and you Judas has just left.
A single tear will roll down Philadelphia. The prodigal son shall return.
Gabal Keldrick is gone too?
So, sorry.
Kendrick is gone too?
The spice merchant.
Oh yeah, Jabal was not there when you returned. He was the
Respite.
one fellow that was not in the courtroom. So no, you haven't seen him since you returned for the verdict. The other ones have just taken, and you hear in the distance a high-pitched screeching and almost a blubbering of men just kind of residing in the distance as someone is very, very angry. Someone else.
I kind of just like peek my head out the door and I'm like, yeah, get it, Melanie. Give him what for?
All right. You lead, I'll follow, we'll stay out of each other's way, and I think we'll do just fine.
We should introduce ourselves to our new friend.
Yes, you should.
You don't have to.
Oh, what is your name?
I am Borax. Borax the Blue.
Borax the Blue. I like that. I am your friend Yoris, Yoris Ren, and well, I like to play the flute. I like to dance on street corners, and we were going to be delivery persons, but then
Let's not do any of that.
that was violently ended. So we will have to find new work. But I am looking forward to getting to know you.
Do you have a flute?
Oh, I have to get back.
Yeah.
We have to get all our stuff back.
Yeah.
I think
Wait.
The guards are waiting there for you.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I sort of.
Let's discuss anything.
Will
personal
it fit in
or-
your pocket?
No, I have a sheath.
That's a good place to keep it.
Thank you.
The guards take you back to the inventory room. You get all of your stuff. Everything's there. Everything accounted for.
gold from each of us.
You'll have to pay at this point. It's a
the-
total of 500, I think, is what. Yeah, 500.
Is 100 gold each.
So basically, the cost of the job.
The money we just got paid, we're losing.
Yes.
Is by any chance
did
that
we get
package slipped back in the
125 each?
Are you going to look in the barrel right now?
120.
Not right.
It was on
now,
the
yeah,
other?
you're right.
I talked him up.
When
I
we
have
get
100.
outside,
But that was for us
So I
the
think
whole
that's all-
job,
I
or
wanna
we
see
got
if the
ahead of
package-
time?
Oh, so we got 25 free gold. Not bad.
So you're paying the fines?
I wrote down.
I think you're right.
I don't
He
think
just got 125 because he upped
I
it.
talked him up.
Yeah.
As a person who may have kicked off the severity of our charges, I will kick in 120. So you can keep an extra 5.
Wait, what did we get?
From the job.
And
The job. He gave
job.
it prepaid.
Oh,
Yeah, he paid you up front, 125 gold.
Yeah, he was gonna give us 100, and then I convinced him to give him.
I'll give all my money.
How many do you have? Do you have
Well, with
95 gold?
125,
Well, everybody can give 95, and then I give 120.
Well, if I killed somebody like you guys said I did, I feel like I
It's
should
mainly
contribute
that I
more.
just don't care about the gold. It's not that I just.
It's okay. I have 7, and that is the number of hairs that Who is a God had on his face at the age of 10.
That's right, you're weird. I'm not.
Do you want to do 95 or you do
Yeah,
125?
yeah.
Okay, cool.
So then,
All right, so you guys worked it out. And does Borax have 11 gold too?
He does.
Okay.
I'm gonna write a whole Bible of Who is a God.
Or actually,
I'm working on it.
I guess 10 gold actually, since he misspoke, and
But-
1 gold for the recompense of Lady Dresden and 9 for the court fee.
And I'm holding on to this piece for later.
so then, yeah. Once the fines are paid and we've made our way outside,
Okay.
I want to see if in the barrel, if the package has been replaced.
Well, just as you walk outside, after collecting all your things, paying your fine, and leaving the hall, the magistrate's hall, you see Jabal standing there.
boss!
Hey, God.
And he immediately walks up. He's got a very stern look on his face. He says, "Walk with me." And he begins to lead you, if you follow it,
Oh yeah.
through town, south, through town. When you get to the
Are
edge
there
of
any
town,
rumors or anything I might know about this vicious drug dealer they're now working for?
from your time in Dyvers, prior to this, we'll say, roll a history.
I have history. 17.
17. He has obviously noted that you're there, but has not said anything. What you know about him? 17. It's a big city. There's a lot of things going on. He's a spice merchant. You may
Sure he is.
know that.
The spice must flow.
But I mean, you're not really. I mean, a spice merchant, and you don't even know if what they're claiming is true. You know, whether he really just gave him a frog, or if he gave him this brick of come out.
No,
Okay.
I don't know if that's true, but I have a brain, and
Yeah.
I saw how he was acting on
So you could
the
probably.
band versus how everybody else was. So I'm like, when he walked up, I'm like, oh, I believe he's here for you. And I'm gonna step back and let them follow.
Oh no, you are our friend
No,
now.
he's in charge of us.
Yes. This is Borax the Blue.
He's our babysitter.
We'll
He's
talk in
our-
a moment.
Yeah.
In a moment.
Name's kind of spot on.
So, you probably in the city this size
Okay.
probably haven't heard of him.
Good.
So I mean, he's not some big celebrity, guild master or something.
All right.
Notorious.
And as soon as you get to the edge of town, you can see there's some probably about a couple 300 yards of just rolling grassy hills. There's a settlement, a farm, tree line in the distance. You are all a bunch of buffoons. With Tiger dead and no more time, you are all I've got left. You'll find your package of herbs in your barrel, sir. If you open it up to look, you see it is there. Cost me 200 gold to get it put there again. If I didn't need you, I'd bury you in a ditch. Don't fail me again.
Yeah, boss.
Can I ask you one question?
Mm-hmm.
Did you directly tell Taggart that you changed the contract over to us?
I told him that he had lost his contract.
Sure, but like he came to find me specifically as if someone had described me as the person who had the new contract. This all would have been avoided should that not have happened in the first place.
What interest of that had been of mine?
I don't
To
know.
describe you to him.
That's fine, and this question is not meant to incite argument. I'm genuinely curious. If you tell me no, that's fine.
Yes, I did.
Okay. Can I insight check?
Yeah.
He just said, yes, I did.
He told me what you look like.
That you were the guy.
He's like, what do
Oh, sorry. I thought. Wait, no.
Why
I
would
thought
you
said-
lie?
I thought you said.
He said, why would I do that? You said what you said, and I said, yes, he did.
Oh.
Yes, I did. In other words, Jabal is admitting to you
That he did describe.
that he did describe you to
Oh,
Taggart
okay.
and his
So,
gang.
yeah, then sorry, I got mixed up a little
Yeah.
bit. So I'll be like, then why, like, this would have been avoided, and you wouldn't have had to replace your package for 200 gold.
Yes.
None of, so like, why?
To test you.
That makes no sense.
Why
No?
are you mad at us?
Have you ever been to the
How are you
Gnarly
mad,
Wood?
yeah, how are you mad at us for messing up?
I need you to survive the Gnarly Wood.
How are we
I need you to
doing?
survive getting to Zendrelda's tower.
So we passed the test.
What's happening?
You're alive. You're no longer in custody.
I
You're not
hate
being
that
hung.
so much. It's not even funny.
This is why I'm not around people. Why I just sit there with my frog.
Dude, frogs don't fuck you over like this.
Friend of mine had a frog. That
We did
fucked
get a
him
little
up once.
fucked.
What happened?
Did you find us a horse? Since you fucked us over a little bit.
You're at the edge of the town without a horse right now.
Well, I know, that's why I'm asking if he gave us a horse.
No, he hasn't bought a horse. And if you ask him, he'll tell you to go buy a horse. I mean, yes, right there. He points directly south, across the plains into the where the tree line is. That's the entry. You'll find the pathway there. Get your horse and go now.
Well, we just had to pay a lot of money.
Yes.
Can we have a little extra money for the horse?
Good luck. And he just spins on his heel.
Wait, no, our new friend, Borax the Blue, can he be included in the contract now? He is with us now.
I know.
So
Made sure he was.
Oh,
Good day.
I'm so confused.
Did you get 125 gold?
Rich people, man.
No.
So wait, are we getting one horse for 6 people?
I think we should just walk.
One day the farm will be big enough to ride.
Well, the horse was simply to pull the cart.
Right, the chest is going to be full of some big thing.
The cart is in Drelda's tower.
As a note, may I just, rather than the package now sitting on top, can I bury it on the bottom of the leaves? Okay.
Yeah, you can do what you want now.
The package is now
It's there.
underneath the leaves.
Yeah, and it looks. I mean, it could be a different package. It could be the same. You know, it looks identical to the one that you had in there before, but
Sure.
Half the day is gone with you guys arguing in court. We should probably start walking.
Well, yes, but all of us, I mean, you know me now and we are good friends, but everybody else should be known to you as well.
No, that's fine.
I go up, like, I assume back towards town. There's like probably someone who would sell like a draft horse or something.
yeah, I mean, again, it's a huge town, and you're actually on the edge of it, so there would be a lot more corrals and livestock in the edge of town. So it wouldn't take you long to find. Just looking around, you could probably see, you know, somewhere that might sell one.
Yeah. As I start walking, I try to. You look like a man who knows animals. Not a good horse.
I do know animals. That's true. Are we at the workshop?
I bring you with me to go
Okay,
to
got it.
horses. That's
Understood.
yeah.
You all gonna go together to find
We wanna go as
the
a
horse?
unit, or
Sure.
do I try to walk away when he tries to start doing friendly introductions, just because you have too much cheer for me today.
They
and
have
I'm
that.
tired.
I'll follow them.
You
I like
can
horses.
come. I'm just ignoring you.
We can walk and talk, that is fine.
Well, you know, sometimes you can just walk.
Then talk.
Seconded.
No, you see, you leave the second part out, and it's just a walk, like a nice, relaxing walk.
You're saying we should wait till it is we are in the woods and it is more quiet so we can hear each other better. I understand. We will do introductions then.
We'll
No,
address
you thought-
that when it comes up, but sure, if that gets it a silent walk now, then we'll go with that.
Wait, I know some monk stuff, like walking meditation, where you walk quiet and contemplate stuff.
I can test my internal harmony as we walk. That is fine.
That's great.
Okay. All right. So yeah, you find someone selling a draft horse easy enough. They go for 19 silver. So they're very expensive.
Yeah, I thought way cheaper than I thought it was.
So, I mean, the one that you find, I mean, does anybody have animal handling? Okay. If you want to make a roll to see if this is like an old, or, you know, has any issues, or
14.
14, okay. Seems solid enough.
Guidance cantrip. Sorry.
Too late.
I was
That adds... No?
I was loading up my spell list. And I was like, oh fuck.
Once the die is cast, it's too
Yeah,
late.
I got it.
Yeah, so I mean, the 14's not bad though. I mean, it's still good, and it appears to be, you know, regular.
I haven't dealt with horses much.
Strap
not
horse.
Like my animal type thing.
They have 2 for sale. You can buy both of them if you want, or just the one. It's up to you.
They both seem fine. I don't know if you need both, but they both seem good.
Gold and a half.
Their deal. I say we get a spare.
Yeah, why not?
All right, so 2 draft horses. They're gold and a half for the 2, and that includes the not the barding, but the reins and so forth to go on a horse to keep it, you know, to pull it and strap stuff to it.
The horses.
Do we have a cart now as well?
No, you don't have a card.
The cart will
Mark and Zendrelda.
Yeah, Zendrelda has the
She'll
card
give us
according
the
to
cart
Cabal.
and the large chest.
Understood.
Yeah.
I'm up on one of the draft horses.
Nah, you're an old man.
I'm the rival Borax.
I have 25 feet of
Ride
movement,
with
so I'll
Borat.
ride on a horse as well.
I am good walking. I'm pretty quick.
Okay.
I'm an average walker because
your
I am.
35.
Yeah, cool.
You
Sweet.
should not be on a horse.
She's a backseat, so she can just move double speed at whenever she wants.
Yeah.
Once per turn.
Yeah.
And then she has to skip a
Yeah,
turn.
every 6 seconds.
Correct, and then I have
she
to
just
stand
needs to track her
still.
breath
And
for
then I have to
Just-
stand still. So,
She has to catch her breath for a second.
So she can sprint and stand.
She moves twice as far as us. By the time we all catch up, she's done resting and moving again.
That's what I'm saying, it's the same.
Yeah.
It is, yes. Well, it's a little bit faster.
It's pretty much like having those springs that you know, bang. Do you have your horses?
Yep.
Do you
Yeah.
want to stay the night in the city again, or?
We have to make the
Alright,
road.
let's go camping.
Alright.
We already wasted a day.
Yeah, so at this point, it's just maybe breaking noon. It's about noon. So, I mean, although you were for some time, and of course you were there early, and it was completed before noon. So, hey, you could have been dead by the end of the day or on your way, and here you are. So, heading into the forest, it doesn't take you, where he pointed is exactly where you find this trail, and it just looks like a game trail. The horses have some difficulty moving, to kind of pushing through the branches and foliage and leaves and so forth, and moving carefully not to get stuck in any ruts and so forth. But you're, at this point, can easily manage to get them along the way.
We are in my favorite terrain, just as a note.
You are? Okay,
the
good.
group cannot be surprised by anything, and
Okay.
a couple other things.
All right.
Is it, like,
Now,
difficult
your
terrain?
movement is affected too, isn't it?
So, as my favorite terrain, my proficiency bonus is doubled for proficient skills when doing it in the terrain. Difficult terrain does not slow our travel. We cannot become surprised or lost unless by magical means.
Okay.
And we remain alert to danger. You can move. No, hold on. And I can find like twice as much food and stuff for us. Should
Okay, good. So that'll keep you moving at a normal pace, because otherwise
Also,
you
we
might
can't
be
be
difficult.
grappled or blinded
What?
or poisoned.
Or poison.
Or poison.
Charm.
Are we just throwing shit out there now?
I'm immune to all sources of damage.
Yes. I'm just immune.
We all gain 12 d12 hit points.
Okay.
I want to point out, as we're traveling, I'm on your horse with you, just saying. So that is Olsen. He is an elf. He has a pet frog that rides on his shoulder. He
That
is
poor horse.
very tall for an elf, but he is our leader, I am told. Figaro is very good with cards and with the speaking, and a very charming individual. Twig's my personal favorite. If you notice, she has very fluffy ears. She has not let me touch them yet, but I'm working on it.
Oh no.
Oh no.
Fetish.
I love how coming out of his character, that's such an innocent thing.
It really is.
And it is. And Philadelphus, he worships a god. He thinks my god is, how do you say, trash? And and I am yours.
Is your gun trash?
No, Jean-Ye is very kind to me. I was blessed at birth. You see, my mother gave birth to me without noticing it. And
Oh, you don't know what you've started.
Yeah, here we go.
This time you're the yapper.
I'm sorry.
And this goes on for hours and forth as you move into the gnarly forest. Anybody from the area that
I'm
could look at your backstory and see if there's anybody?
Coastal merchant town, man. This is weird.
What's the forest that's next to the net?
I'm pirate town.
No, that's way up to Celadon. That's way on the end. Yeah, it's a long way away. So
Greyhawk proper.
all right, so you guys are not real familiar with this area. It's a dark, tangled forest. With your benefit, you move through it quite fluidly, which is nice. And as you do so, the horses as well are not packed with anything, I guess, unless at this point, because you guys are just carrying what you had before. Plus, who was riding? We had
I'm on one.
Philadelphus is on one. Is anybody riding the other one?
Borax was on.
Borax and
Okay,
Borax and Eurus are on one.
okay, and then
The
Philadelphus is
poor
on the other.
horse.
it's a draft horse.
I know.
I can handle
very
4 of
light.
us.
I'm like 75% air.
Yeah, and I'm 80% water. That just...
So yeah, you're moving fluidly through the forest,
man.
Yeah.
and as you do so, you're hearing strange sounds in the distance, seeing it in the evening as it gets dark, odd lights, through the trees here and there. Not quite sure what to make of it as you are moving deeper and deeper, knowing that you probably have about a 3-day trek to get to Zendralda's tower. And you're told just to stay along this path. Don't deviate off any of the other paths leading away. And to carefully watch the path, as sometimes it may become less than obvious where the path leads. Jabal's words of wisdom. And he also mentioned, if you choose to heed it or not to light campfires at night.
Or making this.
Or make a lot of noise, yes. So those are some of the things that he cautioned you on traveling through the gnarly forest. He didn't discuss what dangers you might find. You didn't ask. But you can probably infer that there must be some dangers in a forest like this. Yeah. So as you start moving forward, the night growing darker and ever darker as you have survived a day.
Stop when we see a little bit of a clearing or some space in the path, or should we try riding through the dark with Ravek as our DM?
Yeah, let's.
We should stop.
We'll set a clear, set up a clearing once it starts getting dark.
Okay.
It's too dark to really see with us not night vision.
So whoever wants to can roll a survival.
I think that Olsen should.
Guidance on Olsen.
What is that at? A number or
D4.
points? D4?
And don't you like get expertise?
That is a 21.
Oh, good. Yeah, so as it gets dark, just before there's very little light, and it may actually be a lot earlier in the day than what it seems in this dark forest, you do find an area that is probably about 30 feet by 30 feet, roughly, where it's got some softer grass, some moss, in which you can, the draft horses can graze, and you guys can lie comfortably. Anybody have like tents or?
Tent.
Okay, so we got.
Are there any trees?
There are trees all around, and there's a few stumps, here and there, of rotten, trees that have, gone over the passage of time.
I would like to climb a tree and have
Climb a
that
tree.
for my sleeping.
Okay, easy enough.
Can my sleeping bag be a hammock?
It could
Could hang
be
from the
if you want to create one. Well, let me first tell you about what you're finding here. The gnarly forest is predominantly a mixture of oak and nip trees, and they grow side by side throughout the length and breadth of the entire wood. They have these very, very broad branches that spread like a leafy canopy that is, well overhead, but those same branches offer very easy climbing. And so, whereas they're well off the ground, once you get up to them, like 30 feet, which, you can easily climb a trunk to get up there, it's almost like, boardwalks, throughout the canopy of forest. So, just so you understand what type of forest. And then you have the brush on the ground that kind of, it just is high, over 10 feet high in places that makes it more difficult to see, where you're going. And it's the saplings and so forth. But you're in an open area for the most part at this point, with a few tents and such. And as you start to set up camp, relaxing from the vigors of the day that could have been much worse, with your backup characters coming to the forefront next session, you survived it. And that's where we're going to end tonight's session. Good job, everyone. You got through Court. Court TV, D&D Court TV tonight.
It was like live in Providence. Like the magistrate was like, all right, young man, just get out of the gang. I won't give you a ticket this time.
Yeah.
I won't give you a ticket, but I will enlist you in the traffic cops.
Yeah, well,
The Marines, bro.
maybe you have the
Like
heart.
Vecna.
Yes.
I mean, they do need soldiers because they do, I'm assuming, keep dying.
Well, this is becoming quite the threat. And we'll find out more of that later. Good night, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Good night.
See you next time. Legends of Paper, Greyhawk 5e.